Today I'm going to make this walnut wall-mounted swing arm lamp. Actually, I'm going to make two of them. The challenge with this project is that I want to run the power cord for the lamp completely hidden inside the arm. We used to have these swing arm lamps beside the bed, and I used that to more or less gauge how far out from the wall I wanted the new lamps to stick. And I also found that we never ever use this sort of middle pivot point in the lamp, so I could simplify my new design by just omitting this bending point altogether. I worked through several prototypes, both in real life and in SketchUp CAD, before I settled on a design. My first prototype was just a little piece of plywood, and I cut some notches in it and I wrapped it with lamp cord, just sort of trying to figure out how far I wanted things out. And I was just sort of holding it, or I tried wiring it to the existing lamp. Then I came up with this one, and I tried putting a cord trench on the bottom. I didn't like that. I switched to putting a cord trench along the top, so the cord would come out and then it would be fitted into here, and I realized that that just is not going to look good. And this was our final prototype, where I actually cut it apart, had two pieces glued together with the cord running all the way through, painted it black, but we decided we wanted walnut instead. So this is almost the finished product. I used my SketchUp drawing along with the Wood Gears big print program to generate these one-to-one plans so that I could just trace them out for the pieces that I need. Really, the arm is the key. The rest of the other pieces are just, squares. These plans show how I'm going to excavate a groove along the two arms before I glue it together so that I have the spot where I can feed the cord through. We've also had these IKEA pendant lamps for years, and I decided to use this for the guts of it. You can buy pendant sets from IKEA and lampshades. I'll have links down below in the video description of all the stuff that I talk about in this video in case you want to go looking for it. But anyways, we didn't like these shades, but the cord set is fine. So on Amazon, I found these actually fairly inexpensive stained glass lampshades that could fit onto a standard cord fixture. And so we bought a pair of these, and that's this, along with the cord fixture, along with my design for a walnut lamp, is going to get all put together to make this project. I don't need a lot of wood, so I'm going to use some walnut because I think it's going to look nice. Here's the prototype arm. This is back before we decided to run the cord down the center. But anyways, the prototype arm is about 1 inch wide, which means I need to take these two pieces down to, just about a 1/2 inch thick, and then lay out the patterns for cutting them out. So each lamp arm has two parts, a left side and a right side, because I'm excavating a channel for the cord to feed through the arm. So I have two pieces to do, and I'm doing 2 lamps. So I've got the one side here, and I have the opposite side here. Just because of the way this board is, I want to run the nice straight edge right along the straight edge of the wood. So I'm actually going to put these on opposite sides, and now I'm going to get out my palm router with a spoon bit, and I'm going to be routing this out with an edge guide, and I hope it does not destroy the paper. If it does, I might not even show you this clip. I might cut to the proper way to do it. But I did cut it out carefully, so I'm going to draw along the side with pencil lines so that I will not lose those markings if the paper does somehow get shredded. So that worked out really well, did not totally destroy the paper. I used an edge guide. I have a small bit, it's quite skinny, so I'm going to actually have to take 2 passes. But first I'm going to do the other side and then the other board. So I'll get all of those done before I move the fence. When I did my practice piece, I freehanded it, which was a real stress. Having the fence on it just helped guide it and made it much better. I'm still going to have to freehand the two ends where it curves and comes out, but it's going well. All right, that's the hard part, I think. Maybe. Love that spray adhesive, but it can be a pain to get off. And one eternity later. Almost. So I've got my 4 halves all prepared. I've got the trench cut in for the cord, and now I'm going to put these together and glue them up, and then we will continue on later with shaping and assembly. Now I really don't want glue to go into that spot that we worked so hard to excavate, so let's spread it nice and thin. This one, a couple of days later, I took a break and these are now solidly glued, and next step is to take these and clean them up and get rid of any of the glue lines, sand them, and then I will be taking them to the router table, giving them a round over, and I forget what else. The matching up of the holes is not perfect, but it's pretty good, and I can finesse that with some sanding. So before I round over the edges of the arms, I first want to get this hole drilled here for how it's going to mount. And to do that, I wanted to have the mounting blocks, or the hinge blocks, also cut. So I took a moment and I prepped those, as well as the plate that goes on the wall. Wanted to get that all ready. I think I might be doing some rounding over on these also, so that way I'll just do one operation on the router table. So these are also on my 1-to-1 plans, but I didn't really use them. I just took measurements off there, used them as guidelines, and I cut out these blocks. I didn't actually go 6.5 inches, which is what the plans call for. I went for 6 3/8 because that's what I had with stock, and you know, that's close enough. And same with the blocks. The next thing I want to do is I want to drill a hole through here for a shaft where this arm can swing and pivot on. I've measured center and I've moved in about 5/8 for where I want to drill, and while I was at it I marked on the hinge blocks also, and if you might notice I decided to actually cut some slightly taller hinge blocks. Thought that would just give it a little bit more strength. I have a 3/8 brad point drill bit set up in the drill press. I've got that now centered on my piece. Took a little bit of fiddling. I've got it braced here at the angle. Over here I've made sure that this is 90 degrees, and the same here. You'll notice on this particular piece I actually wedged in a little bit of paper just to make sure it was perpendicular. And yes, that was a bit nerve-wracking because you've got to get it right. Now set up the next one. And then while I'm at the drill press, I'll get the little hinge type blocks done as well. The top ones I'm going to drill all the way through so that I can drop the peg in from above, and the bottom ones I'm going to drill about halfway through for the pegs to sit in. So I want to break all the edges, so I'm going to take them to the router and use a round over bit. But first, on the mounting blocks, as you can see, I drilled a 3/8 hole so the cord will go through there. And on the back, I used the same router setup to excavate a trench so that the cord can go into the base and then come out, or rather, the cord can go into the base and then drop down the wall. I had to chisel a bit there for to help the cord for making the corner. So next step is to mount these hinge blocks on the base plate like this. And I've drawn a line where I want the bottom block. And then I need to center that bottom block, and I'm going to use some CA glue to glue that in place. Once that's in place, take the actual arm, and then I'll line that up, and then I'll do the same, gluing the top one in place. And once that's complete, I'll take it over, carefully drill a couple of holes, and put in some number 6 screws. So fairly thin screws, but fairly long. I was concerned about them turning, so that's why I wanted to put 2 screws in and not just 1. These are 7/8 of an inch wide. This is 3 inches wide, which means I need to make a mark 1 1/16. And that gives me centered lines for positioning the block. CA glue, and then, yeah, I have to hold my head a certain way because pencil marks on walnut are hard to see. I'm just going to leave that there for a few seconds. And just leave it. Take the screw and I dip it in some furniture wax before I drive it home, just to make sure it goes nice and smooth and gentle. Dowel is just a little tight. So chucked it in a drill here, and I don't want to take too much because I want a nice snug dowel, but it still needs to be able to fit in there. Beauty. That's one. And yeah, I only happen to have these white dowels, so I will be putting just a little bit of dark stain on the end of the dowel, which is the only part that will show. There we go. Okay, maybe I shouldn't be doing this when it's windy. Oh, okay. After a bit of lacquer, buff it with some craft paper, make it nice and smooth. And the arm goes in here. Okay, of course the camera battery died part way, so I've got this one set up now. That was a bit of a headache. Let's try the other one. Tricky getting it lined up. There we go. A little persuasion, something to stand it on. Of course that one just goes straight through. This other one I really had to fight because they weren't actually lined up. I ended up unscrewing these 2 screws and knocking this top block loose, and then getting it back together and then screwing it in. That might be a better way to assemble it, to just put the axle through and then attach it to the back. But I do like that it's nice and snug, which is what I want. Okay, that's it for now. So a little dab of espresso gel stain took care of the end of those white dowels. Okay, time for the big finish. Let's get this and this and this, let's get them all put together. There's just one little problem. And the problem is you've got this pendant cord here, and you've got this great big fixture at one end, and you've got this outlet at the other end, and neither one is going to fit through these holes. That's the only option. I mean, really, the other option would be if you could get the cord off of the socket end, and then you could just feed the cord through that way. On mine, I couldn't figure out a way to easily do that, and you know, a replacement plug for the end is like a couple of bucks. So for me, it was much simpler to just cut the end off, and then I will be able to feed it through. My cord also had a power switch partway on that I've already taken off. I'm just going to put some electrical tape over that to take the strain off of it. I cut the plug end off, which means I start feeding from here. If you take off the end by the socket, then you would start feeding your cord at the other end. And there is a bit of a tight corner here, so you sort of, I've done this before on the prototype. You want to kind of try to get a corner bend, and then just shoving it through. This is when we find out whether there was any glue that plugged up the hole, but fortunately the cord is fairly stiff, so you can just shove it there. And there, I see it at the other end, and I need some needle nose pliers. Here we go. So pull this carefully. Normally I could pull a bit harder, but right now there's that taped part is in there, so I want to be careful with that. Yep, there we go. That's coming out now. And there we have that. And then you do the same thing here. Feed it through. This is much simpler because we're just poking it through the mounting plate. And we just leave a little loop here so that this will hang on the wall like that. And there's just this little loop tucked there, and then the cord drops down the wall. And I'm going off screen, it looks like. On my light, there's a threaded ring. This is matched in size to the stained glass, and then I have to reach in with the hand and just get it caught on the threads. And here we go. Here's our first look at the light. And so finally, this is what we've been working towards. A wall-mounted lamp, a little bit of stained glass, swing arm so it can pivot from side to side. So I'm going to get the cord fed through the other one, and then we will reconvene upstairs where I get these installed. So here's one, and there's the other. Got them nicely installed in my room, and I think they look great. Okay guys, that about wraps this one up. If you find this interesting, I have a basic set of plans available with the one-to-one grid, so you can just trace everything out. You know, links to that, links to the cord set, to the lampshade, all of that's down in the description below. And I think that about covers it, so we'll see you on the next one.